Talk directly about that with Lieutenant Chris Olivarez from the Texas Department of Public Safety. As always, it's good to see you. You know, Governor Abbott handed the president a letter in part reading, "Your visit avoids the sites where mass illegal immigration occurs and sidesteps the thousands of angry Texas property owners whose lives have been destroyed by your border policies." Even the city you visit has been sanitized of the migrant camps, which had overrun downtown El Paso because your administration wants to shield you from the chaos that Texans experience on a daily basis, end quote. So we've seen people laying in the streets. We just saw that with our own Marky Martin there. Is this true about some of the migrant camps actually being moved ahead of the president's visit?
Good morning, Adrienne. So that's what I understand, that before the president's visit, there was I guess you would call a cleanup in some of those areas where you were seeing the majority of these migrants that were sleeping in the streets, some of the camps, especially the airports where, the migrants were occupying airports because there wasn't enough space and shelters or processing centers. So that's what I understand. I saw some images on social media as well from other journalists that were actually on the field, actually reporting on the president's visit. And from what I understand, there was a sanitized version of what the actual president saw. That's where we have to really look at as far as the visit itself. Was this a very efficient or effective visit? Yes, it's great to meet with Customs and Border Protection to see what they're doing at the ports of entry, and also meeting with Border Patrol agents. But also, what's more important, the reality of the situation, is actually visiting with those that actually are on the front lines between the ports of entry, where we're seeing the majority of all these crossings that are taking place, and also seeing those areas where you just saw. I believe it was Marky that was on one of the streets there, where you see some of those migrant camps that are sleeping in the streets. That's the reality of the situation there in El Paso. Of course, the numbers have decreased, and we understand that. But the epicenter of the situation also is in Del Rio and Eagle Pass. That's where another visit would have been very effective as well, to visit with some of those residents, visit with ranchers, also to receive a briefing from state officials to see what we are doing, what we have been doing ever since the spring of 2021, as far as taking on this border situation. So that's where I really, I'm very skeptical as far as what's going to take place as far as in the future, as far as any plans or strategies that they have in place. The numbers are still increasing. Numbers have not decreased as far as overall encounters. It's been historic, record after every single month, especially around this time, where we see the numbers decrease, and that has not been the case with this current situation.
Now, busing has been a big part of this conversation. Of course, Governor Abbott busing immigrants out of the state of Texas. Democratic Governor Jared Polis says Colorado will no longer bus immigrants to cities like Chicago and New York after both mayors wrote him a letter saying, "Stop. We're demanding you to stop because people who come here don't have any family ties and there's no room in our shelters." So he says he's going to agree to that. Do other states receiving shouldering some of the burden of this help, or is it just generating headlines to call attention to the story?
Well, it does help, especially helps the smaller border communities. They don't have the infrastructure, especially Eagle Pass, when you have, some of those cities, some of those towns, a population of 15, 20,000, they just don't have the capacity. And we saw what was taking place in Eagle Pass in El Paso and Eagle Pass, where some of these migrants were being mass released into the city and sleeping in the streets. So we had nowhere to put them. So the governor, of course, launched that initiative by, relocating some of these migrants to these sanctuary cities. And it's all on a voluntary basis. These migrants are free to get off anytime they want during the trip. And they want to go to these cities because they know it's further to their destination, their overall destination. So it does help. It helps us as far as the state and some of these smaller border communities, because these larger cities, these larger states have the capacity, they have the resources, they have the funding, much more than we have right now, because we're not receiving any federal funds whatsoever as far as on the state side.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis also has sent immigrants out of his state. He's activated the National Guard now to provide more resources and public safety because Cuban migrants have been arriving there by the hundreds and thousands. What do you believe the federal government should be doing now to help individual states with this issue?
Well, of course, the funding is always, important, right? I heard there, I think earlier on this report, that they were talking about resources and providing more resources, but there's plenty of resources. The policy is what's actually going to make a change. You got to have a policy in place, and right now they're only targeting for, populations. That's not going to stem the flow of overall mass migration that we're seeing from people over 150 different countries. That's what they have to look at. So you got to put the policies in place. Once the policies are in place, then you can look at resources, you can look at funding. But of course, funding is always going to be key. But what we would like to see as a state is see policy changes. Put the policies back in place.
Right.
That'll buy us some time. And then you can have more resources, more funding, and then have an overall immigration reform, plan in place. But for now, that's what we need right now to actually stop this flow of people that are coming across and have a more controlled and humane situation on our border.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.